Hi, this is Peter Godinas with KEDYTV.net with another series of Good Morning Oxnard and also Meet the Candidate. And we have the good pleasure of finally getting Bryan Macdonald here, and he's a busy man, so his limousine service is waiting outside, so we got to get down to business. So I want to just start by, Bryan, thank you so much for finally getting in here.
Peter, thank you for allowing me to be here. And just so the public knows, the limousine service is my own car that I drive myself.
I was just kidding.
So I don't
just
get anything for having
no. Well,
you know,
I've already messed up. So no, it looks like an economy car, very economy car. So anyway, Bryan, one of the things I always like to start with, it's just so fun, it's just people getting just to know you. So where did all this start with you? Were you born, where you're raised? Give us a little background about yourself.
Sure. I was born and raised in Santa Barbara in the 50s, early 50s, probably Santa Barbara High School, graduated. And after that time, my family relocated to Ventura County. I relocated with them because I was a starving college student. I couldn't afford to live on my own. And I've been here ever since. And I've ultimately landed in Oxnard. I love the community. When I retired in 2006, my wife and I discussed, we can go anywhere we like, and her response was, we're already here. We love this community. We love living here. We love everything about it. So this is where we're going to spend the rest of our lives.
It's a beautiful thing. Now, you have family still in Santa Barbara. Parents were from that area, brothers and sisters?
All of my family was from that area. Unfortunately, most of my family is gone now. I'm one of the last remaining elements of the family.
Okay.
So we could be free spirits, but we choose to be homesteaded here instead.
Now, I had a chance to meet Lorraine, your lovely bride, the last time we were here, and she's quite the bride, if I could say that.
Thank you.
It sounds like there was a little bit of an interesting story of how you met. You're quite the charming man, so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I don't know that I would say I was charming, but I have good taste and certainly selected a good woman for a wife, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
How long have you been married?
We'll be married 30 years next August.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So where did this all start? Just really
This started at a little place that most people have never heard of called Camp Scheideck. It's on the road between Lockwood Valley and Fraser Park. It's a bit of a remote location. At the time I was up there, and when I met my wife, the nearest payphone was 17 miles one way. So if you wanted to make a phone call, you had to plan it out pretty much ahead of time. And we got to talking up there one day and hit it off and started dating, and 2 years later got married.
Wow. Did she ever tell you what she actually found most attractive about you when she first saw you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll interview her one of these
Yes.
days. But that's a very romantic, beautiful story. So, if I missed it, the college you went to was up in Santa Barbara?
I started at Santa Barbara City College,
Okay.
and I came down here with my parents, transferred to Ventura College,
Okay.
and at the time got a job with Oxnard Police Department. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, had no calling, no career plans, and saw a job notice in the paper for a police cadet, and thought, this will be interesting, let me try this out. And I talked to a gentleman in Santa Barbara PD by the name of Payne Green, who had kind of got me interested in law enforcement. And so I said, well, let's try this out. And I did it for a year while I was going to Ventura College, and absolutely fell in love with the organization, the people, the camaraderie. And so I decided to go away to Cal State Long Beach, got my bachelor's degree, came back, ultimately got hired by Oxnard Police Department as an officer, and I spent a total of 30 years there with that
30 years. Wow, I'm probably sure there's a lot of good memories, and you have a lot of friendships that are probably still intact. So
it's like a family element.
No, I would definitely think so. So you spent a good amount of time in law enforcement and probably understand almost just as much as like an attorney about city ordinances and things like that. So any kids that you're proud to call your own and doing good things like yourself?
We don't have any children. My wife and I were never able to have children, but I have a lot of people that through the years I've watched grow up and mentor, and hopefully I've had a positive influence.
I think that would be the case.
And so you're always proud of your success stories. So I'm drawing a blank on anything that comes to mind right away, but I know there are kids out there that I've been able to work with. I do a lot with Eagle Scouts on Eagle Scout projects, things of that nature. So I'm one of those people who thinks that life is full of opportunities. They present themselves to you. It's up to you to take advantage of them. I do whatever I can to follow that model.
No, I bet you there are a lot of people who you know and don't know who you probably had a lot of influence on. So besides the Boy Scouts, are there other organizations that you're involved with besides this city? Because you're a busy man, Bryan, so.
You know, I've done a lot of stuff. You know, with the Elite Theater Company, I was on their board for a number of years. I was involved in the Salsa Festival for a number of years. I was involved in the American Cancer Society in the Gold Coast region for a number of years, and also the Relay for Life. I've done just a variety of things. It's one of those things where someone says, hey, would you be interested in helping out? If I have the opportunity and time, I certainly do so. Being a councilman right now, I sit on about 10 different organizations on behalf of the city, plus the council duties and everything else. So I'm a little bit busy right now, but
Yes.
I still try and get involved in things. I'm a member of Knights of Columbus,
Yes.
the 750 year. Good organization, community involved. I'd like to do more with them, but I just unfortunately run out of time. So.
Now, have you been asked to actually participate in dance in the Salsa Club? We've had a few people who have been contestants, so have you ever participated in the prior years in that event?
I have absolutely no rhythmic talent whatsoever.
Well,
So that would be a classic thing.
was it Bob Baker that was in it? I didn't think he had any talent, but he did it. So, you know, it's just one of those things I gotta ask, you know.
A man needs to know his own limitations. Salsa dancing is for me. So.
Now, I'll still eat the salsa and chips, they're mandatory, but I just had to ask that. Now, what was the first time you actually got into the government portion of it? I think being a police officer, you were involved in it, but when did you actually go into where you had to be elected?
You know, it was by happenstance. I had never had any aspirations of being in the political realm. I had been retired for a little bit of time, and my wife and I were teasing each other. And she said, "You have to get a job. You can't be hanging around the house all day."
You were bugging, huh?
Yeah, drive me crazy.
See,
So I got to talking to some friends, and it looked like there was going to be an opportunity to apply for city council and run for elected office. I thought, you know, it's one of those opportunities. I said, let's try it. And I'm one that would rather do something instead of sitting around for the next 10 years wondering what would have happened had I pursued this.
Yeah.
Now I know, and I've been very happy doing this. I'm very pleased with this. And as you mentioned, it's kind of like continuing on your commitment to public service.
Yes.
And this community has been very good to me for 30 years. Now it's time for me to return that favor.
You're doing it.
Well, thank you.
Now, so did you win the first time out?
It was, I went to sleep well ahead. I woke up well behind. And
I like
for
the
the
answer
next
to that.
10 days, I kept gaining little by little by little, and I ultimately was victorious by 36 votes.
Now that is an exciting competition.
Yeah, my wife's friends call me landslides.
Landslide. Yeah, you can nicknames whether you want them or not.
Yeah.
Well, that's really neat, and this was for the City Council of Oxnard.
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
That was 6 years ago.
Wow. And did you get a kind of a trend in what kind of profiles really liked you and supported you and got behind you? Did you want to do a shout out to them and just say?
I just, to the whole community, thank you for allowing me to do this. I'm having a wonderful time and have a lot to do and still accomplish, but this has been an absolute blast for me. And I don't know if there's any one particular group over another group that supported me. I like to think the community supported me. And
A real diversity in with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this community is all about, is the diversity.
Absolutely. And one of the most favorite things that occurs to me is sometimes I'll walk through the store or be doing something, and somebody else walk up and they'll say thank you, and I go, for what? And I go, for doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be somebody that I don't know that see me on TV or doing whatever, and that's just monumental when that happens.
Yeah, how does that make you feel? I mean,
It's just fantastic. You can't think of anything better for someone to take notice of what you're trying to do and just say thank you for your efforts. That's absolutely the top of my list for favorite things to occur.
Now, you're a city council presently. You're going to make a run for mayor. It's probably going to be another one of those landslide. Let's keep close to the television, the internet types of things. But in the event that you do get elected to mayor, what are some of the things that you envision for this wonderful community called Oxnard?
Well, my campaign is very simple. I have two main points I'm looking at. I'm a public safety person. I come from a public safety background. I will always be that way. And I look at things a little more pragmatically than some folks do. I think that we really need to be prepared to be self-sufficient in case of a natural disaster or some other type of catastrophic emergency. I hate to say evil things are gonna happen, but look at Napa, the city of Napa in the last couple of days had a tremendous earthquake, and they pretty much had to be self-sufficient. I want to make sure Oxnard's situated to be in that same type of self-sufficiency. So public safety, both on the police and fire side, is number one in my book. There are about 22 to 25 opens in the police department right now. The more officers we don't have on the street, the less service we can provide to the community, and that bothers me. We need to really be involved in our community in terms of public safety and protecting them. And so that's my first point. And my second point is efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through some challenges with this community, with the city, with the council, with staff and everything else. And we're on the road to recovery, but we still have a lot of things to get done and accomplish. And I think during the course of the last several years, we have not been as efficient as we could be. We're spending the money properly, or we're doing things in a timely fashion. I think our inefficiency overall creates inefficiency for the entire system. So, we've been able to hire a new city manager. I think he's going to do wonderful things for this community, for the city. We need to give him the commensurate authority to do the job that he's been hired to do, allow him to make the decisions he needs to be making, and within our own house become more efficient, because when we're inefficient, it creates inefficiency in staff and nothing gets done.
I always remember the speech you made in terms, because I've been a part of the council meetings, and the famous ones that go till 3 o'clock in the morning, kind of stuck in my mind in terms of the goals to possibly make it a little earlier than 3 o'clock in the morning. So I just think that's wonderful. I feel great that we have leaders here in Oxnard like you, and I just want to encourage people to vote. And so I really appreciate you being on the show. We finally got you in here.
Thank you
it's
so
a
much.
wonderful thing, and now the world can actually know and see Bryan Macdonald and who he's all about. So get out there and vote. And thank you for watching. This is Peter Godinez, your ambassador with KEDY TV. And this is Good Morning Oxnard, and Meet the Candidate.